Hi, I'm Brian Mahon, founder of Igloo Insurance, where we offer transparent risk advice to business owners and families. In this video, we're breaking down everything you need to know about car insurance in Pennsylvania. We'll talk about the coverages, limits, discounts, and tips for keeping your rates low. So to jump off first section here, what are the liability coverage basics of personal car insurance? Well, first of all, you have third-party coverage or bodily injury liability, BI for short. That pays for injuries that you may cause to others operating a motor vehicle. Now, there's also property damage liability that pays for damage to other people's property, right? So that's your basic liability coverage that is basically mandated in every state in the United States. Could see that as a split limit or a combined single limit. So for example, you could have a 100, 300, 100 limit. That's our typical recommended liability limit on a personal auto policy. And that's $100,000 per person, $300 per accident, and $100,000 of property damage. It's the third party coverage. More common in commercial insurance, you might have a combined single limit like $500,000 across the board or $1 million across the board. Recommendation again is that 100, 300, 100 or higher. If you're a high net worth individual or close to retirement, paranoid individual, you might see 250, 500, 250, something like that. State minimums in the state of Pennsylvania are $15,000 for bodily injury liability per person, and then $30,000 per accident. Basic $5,000 of property damage coverage, which that's not going to cover much at all. Most vehicles these days cost $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and telephone pole could cost almost $100,000. So definitely don't recommend that, but some folks do choose to carry state minimums, and that is their choice as consumers. In Pennsylvania, you also have to have $5,000 of first-party medical benefits or medical expense coverage. Recommend an uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage in the state of Pennsylvania for your personal auto insurance. That really protects you if other drivers either are driving with no insurance, which is illegal, or they're driving with state minimums or very little amount of insurance, which is legal, but doesn't help out if you get in an accident with them and they're at fault. So it's recommended to match your uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage limits with those liability limits. Now let's talk first party benefits, right? Personal auto insurance. These are really optional. The only ones that are mandated are the medical expense coverage, but you might have, a minimum $5,000 for medical expenses. You could raise that to say $10,000, $25,000, $50,000, or $100,000. You could have some income protection built into your personal auto insurance, $1,000, $5,000 per month to a maximum of maybe $5,000 to $100,000 policy term. You could have some accidental death coverage, maybe $5,000 to $25,000 worth. Funeral benefits baked into personal auto insurance, $1,000, $2,500. Another important thing to note is your tort options, personal auto insurance. We highly, highly recommend full tort. It is a bit of a higher premium, but that gives you full right to sue someone in the event of an accident for pain and suffering. With limited tort, joke, it's kind of the kiss of death, right? If you're disabled or you end up in a coma or you're in a really bad car accident, limited tort can affect your ability to hire an attorney to go after the at-fault party, right? So restricts that pain and suffering claims. What about considering physical damage coverage in your personal auto insurance here in Pennsylvania? Heard of this as full coverage, but it's really two different things, comprehensive and collision. So you buying car insurance to protect yourself from things like your car getting stolen or catching on fire or hail damage or hitting a deer or maybe, a cracked windshield from some rocks or hail or snow or something. And then collision coverage, right? That's where you hit another car. You're in a car accident. So, if you have a newer car, you definitely want to consider this because your car is still worth a lot of money. If your car is financed or leased, you're required to have this. A lot of the times lenders cap your deductible for comp and collision at, $1,000 or maybe $2,500. We often see folks have $500 or $1,000 deductibles. Some people like to do a lower deductible on comprehensive, like maybe $100 because it's more likely to happen, and take a higher deductible on collision because it's less likely to happen. So that's up to you. What about, discounts? Everybody wants to save money on car insurance. Some of the common discounts available for personal auto insurance in Pennsylvania is a multi-policy discount, right? You hear all these commercials from TV ads say, bundle your home and auto and save 15%. And virtually every carrier offers that these days. It's not always the best deal, but can be considered, right? Multiple cars give you a discount, a good driver discount, no accidents. Student discounts are available. Maybe college students being away at school, still being included on your car car insurance back home with mom and dad, but they're not using it as much because they're on campus walking around. There are discounts available for that. There's also an advanced quote discount. So say you're call up an agent, hey, I need coverage today. Well, what if we issue it today, but the policy is not effective until a week from now? You can probably save a few $100s and just line up your old policy canceling with the new one. Your car plays into the insurance rates, right? Some cars are safer than others. You may have a loyalty discount, paperless billing, pay in full, often can save anybody money on any insurance product, generally speaking. There are telematics like, Progressive Snapshot or Erie's Your Turn app that may reward you for downloading an app on your smartphone where they monitor your driving. And if you're, not speeding or hard braking, you can win, gift cards, basically. So these usage-based programs. Everybody's curious, other than saving on personal auto insurance, what actually affects my rates in personal auto insurance, especially here in Pennsylvania? I mean, one, of course, is going to be your driving record, right? Accidents, tickets, your age and experience. Young male drivers get their rates jacked up by virtually every carrier. Your zip code plays to effect of the rates. Your credit score can get kind of sucked into an insurance score with a lot of carriers. Safety and type of vehicle you have and the age of the vehicle, whether you drive to commute to work or you Uber or Lyft or own your own business like a realtor or an insurance agent, or maybe you're retired or you work from home, right? You kind of pleasure usage for your vehicle. So every vehicle has kind of an annual mileage and usage assigned to it. Claims history is a big one. So 2 or few claims in the last 3 years is ideal typically. So that's all something to be mindful of when you're shopping rates for your car insurance. So what kind of tips do we have when you are shopping for car insurance? We always recommend AAA for roadside assistance outside of your insurance. So we've run into folks who have, multiple towing claims on their car insurance, and that ends up impacting their rates in the future. If you get a flat tire and you're on the side of the road and you have AAA, that does not affect your car insurance, which is great. You can also shop, right? Every 3 to 5 years, we recommend shopping. A lot of independent insurance agents may have carriers you've never heard of that don't run ads on television that often great insurance products, right? Near us is called Erie Insurance. Generally speaking, the more ads you see on TV, it ranks well in consumer reports and claims handling. And speaking of consumer reports, just Google 2025 car insurance consumer reports rankings. If you can't find it, you can reach out to us here and we'll send you a copy of it. But you can see where your carrier ranks for coverage and service and claims and affordability. So, a lot of folks in Pennsylvania are familiar with Erie Insurance and State Farm. Some other ones you may have heard of as Farmers or potentially like a Penn National or Travelers or Selective. Competitive options out there for you. So if you're a new car insurance buyer or you're just evaluating your current policy, feel free to reach out to us here at Igloo Insurance. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, or comment with any questions below. Thanks so much.